Happy Wednesday, everybody. So every now and then you see something that captures why things everywhere seem to be falling apart these days. No, not just that. I'm talking about a theory called Chesterton's fence. The rule of Chesterton's fence: never destroy a fence, change a rule, or do away with a tradition until you understand why it was there in the first place. I would also add removing your breast implants. Wow, dead crowd tonight, huh? Woo.
A lot of breast implants.
Yeah. But that's good advice on par with don't poop where you eat, which is why Joe Biden no longer has lunch in the Oval Office. You don't deserve that joke. But G.K. Chesterton's rule goes to the heart of all this chaos. Many social constructs that have held things together really come down to fences, metaphorical and literal. Fences and rules backed by Western values that help preserve order and make for a good life. It wasn't perfect, but it was a hell of a lot better than the alternatives offered by dictators in Europe, Asia, or the Third World. But as the U.S. continues to fumble on the world stage and our campuses ring with the chants of hey, hey, ho, ho, Western Civ has got to go, the fences are coming down faster than Hunter Biden's pants at a cheerleading camp. And what's filling that space is a mindless tribal progressivism that's anything but progress. The barbarians are at the gates because we got rid of the gates. In Israel, for instance, the construction of a literal fence ended years of terror attacks launched from the West Bank. In Gaza, the first thing breached by Hamas was a 25-mile-long fence separating the Israelis and Palestinians. But what was also breached was a fence that was also an idea. The idea that Western-style democracy is preferable to a society ruled by a corrupt military cabal who makes Saddam Hussein look like Sandy Duncan. It was two tribes separated by fences, but also by centuries. It'd be like if George Jetson built a mansion next to the Flintstones. And so, of course, the America-hating Western woke elites side against whatever's been working best, which makes Israel the oppressors and Hamas the resistance. But have they thought this through? Do they actually want to export Hamas's system elsewhere? To Hamas savages, LGBT stands for let's go bomb and terrorize. It's the same here at home, as most of us try to conserve rules and traditions that have made the American system the most successful ever. Regressive progressives are looking to tear down the fences of capitalism and law and order in favor of fundamental change. And it's changing all right. What you're seeing in the streets is what the fence kept at bay: simplistic, amoral protests based on lineage and tribal warfare. Following the death of George Floyd, our entire criminal justice system was pegged as institutionally racist. So cash bail went away. Shoplifting became reparations. 40 acres and a mule became 10 men in speed sticks and 15 tubes of Pepsodent. Defund and decarceration became delightful. Is it working? We'll put it this way. Anybody out there want to buy a bachelor pad in Manhattan? I promise I'll have it fumigated. So what happens when you tear down the fence known as criminal justice? Well, you get New York, Philly, Baltimore, Washington, San Fran, LA, Portland, Seattle, Memphis, Houston, Austin. I could keep going, but if I do, I'm going to sound like Stephen Hawking by the time I'm done. Is this really what the Dems want coast to coast? One big, giant pile of And there's our southern border, the bit of fence with holes you could drive the cast of The View through. President Biden is more terrified of his party's left wing than he is of stairs. So any notion of defining the idea of the United States is, you guessed it, institutionally racist. If that's true, then every nation on earth is institutionally racist. Now it's right about here where a liberal would say, Greg, you're just an entitled, privileged cracker. What about all the impoverished black and brown people in the world? Do you think they feel that way? To which I would brilliantly reply, why don't you ask them yourself as they pour over our southern border by the millions to live in the country that you hate so much? We're even dismantling the border between genders. Personally, I'm okay with a fence between the sexes, although there's always some genders no fence can contain. But if there's no border that defines the sexes, you get a generation of disillusioned, unproductive people living in isolation and denial. So if you think about it, much of civilization up to the modern age has been a war against regressive tribalism. We created republics of laws and freedoms that were imperfect, but they were there for a reason. And now we have a generation deciding that the fences must come down, never mind their initial necessity. Now, to have a good life, you do need a structure. But sadly, you get no reward when that structure works. Because how do you show the bad things that you stopped if they never really occurred? So the young and naive have a choice between an imperfect, unprovable good and the evil it holds at bay. And they choose evil without fail. Perhaps it's the result of a country so successful and decadent, it leaves bored minds to embrace suicidal ideas. And so they tear down structures without contemplating their existence in the first place. That's Chesterton's law, which reminds me of Gutfeld's law, which is some people are just remarkably, irredeemably, and hopelessly stupid. And to those I say, stay on your side of the fence. Let's welcome tonight's guests. She's known as the bad girl in her Bible study group. Host of Fox News Sunday, Shannon Breed. He loves cooking his liberals medium rare. Chef and restaurateur, Andrew Gruel. It's her 8th straight year being at the top of the naughty list. New York Times bestselling author and Fox News contributor, Kat Timm. And he prefers to do his nut cracking year-round. New York Times bestselling author, comedian, and former NBA world champion, Tyrus.
I mean, any number of things.
Yes, I meant that in a wholesome way.
I'm so not a nutcracker.
Shannon, I'm sure you're a fan of Chesterton. What is the whole purpose for a fence? Why is there a fence at all?
Well, don't you feel like it's healthy to ask those questions? Everybody at some point is going to push back against things they don't understand, they don't like, especially as a kid. I think about when I was like 7, and one of my mom's pillars of Western civilization was you could not eat ice cream for breakfast every day. And I'm like, well, why not? Because she was also a teacher at my school. I'm not sending in like a 2nd grade Tasmanian devil to embarrass me in front of all these people. Also, you don't want to end up on 600-Pound Life.
Yes.
Which, by the way, is one of the best shows. Yes, I love that show.
I like how you condition that. You don't want to get any angry letters from
No, I love that show. I'm actually a
wearing-
little bit obsessed with it.
Yeah, but you know
But
what's-
I'm asking why?
Yeah.
Why? At least if people, I worry about if you are so dead set on an end result that you can't even ask why something exists in the first place.
So you're arguing against fences.
No, I'm
Wow.
asking that you should at least ask why the fence is there.
No, good question.
Before you get rid of it.
Good point. Way over my head, Shannon, as usual. Andrew, so you work as a chef. Are there, quote, metaphorical fences and walls that you have in place to protect from absurd trends? Like, what if somebody says, you know, foods don't necessarily have to taste good to be cooked and served? I mean, they're doing that with insects.
Yeah, that's a great question. Food is racism, but the pizza, right? Let's take pizza. So pizza, classic Italian pizza. You just got cheese, maybe throw on pepperoni, one topping. Now we got like a pickled elephant nipple pizza coming out of, you know, this really woke pizzeria down in the Lower East Side.
Yes.
And also, I should say, off topic to that question, that 5 seconds ago I realized what a horrible father I am because my kids had ice cream for breakfast today. So
I
that.
wish I was your kid.
You should. Well, they're probably out there ripping the fence apart right now, just out of
Exactly.
out of the sugar high. But you know, I've said fence so many times after reading about Chesterton's theory, and I also want to smoke a Chesterton. But you know, I also think that this theory, kind of when you look at it from the reverse, applies to the federal government, right? And I know the burden of proof lies on those who want to destroy the fence, but like the government has put these fences up, and we got to remove some of those fences. So I think when it comes to the morons out there on the street who are protesting for whatever reason that they don't even know or understand, they just need to get out of the way. But when it comes to the government, we got to remove some of those fences that are there because they're insignificant.
Kat, that's an interesting point. On the one hand, it is hard to prove whether your fence works because you never know the bad thing that you caused because it didn't happen. But on the same respect, with some fences, you don't know if they're actually working at all.
Yeah, I think that nobody's doing anything about any fences.
Yeah.
I think people just yell at each other. This fence is all your fault. There's not examination going on, but it would be helpful if there was, I think. But like Shannon, your question is great. You should know why it's there. You should be thoughtfully considering it. But rather than thoughtfully considering anything, people try to think of why it's not their fault, so then they don't have to do anything. Because it's not your fault. If you don't consider it, then you won't end up realizing that you might be doing something wrong and that you might need to change something about yourself.
If you look at every avenue of turmoil, Tyrus, social discourse, history, crime, biology, The decline begins when previous foundations are destroyed without asking why.
Well, here's the thing, and obviously he's a brilliant man, but his theories are flawed. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's right, I'm saying it.
You're going after Chesterton?
I'm going after Chesterton because here's why. And this is why I'm just looking at from a street perspective, right? Mm-hmm. He has several, but one that always stood out to me, he has about a street lamp. Mm-hmm. Street lamps in the middle of the city, it's light, it's bright. Some people think it's too bright, it needs to go. Other people, it's only light they have, they want to go to it. And again, both his stories, whether it's the fence or the street light, are all based on looking to wisdom before you react. So there is a wise, great man in charge of the fence. Mm. And when they go to the fence, they ask, I want to tear it down. He goes, do you know why the fence was built? No. Go away and come back. Mm-hmm. With the street lamp, it was a monk who was telling them. But here's the thing. This new genre does not seek wisdom. They don't look to leadership. And they're coming up with the understanding that I can attack, there's no consequences. There's no accountability. So I don't give a damn what the fence was for. All I know, it's in my way and I don't like it. And we as a group, the group think tank, the mob, doesn't stop. They run the wise old man over and lynch him and call him a racist and wrap the fence around his neck because no one seeks wisdom with these groups. When you bring this up with October, they knew the fence in Gaza. They crossed it that fence was to protect them from Israel, and vice versa. Yeah. You rip the fence down, you created massacre. Now the fence is down for them too.
Yes.
You never once thought, oh, hey, guess what's coming back? But see, they didn't stop to ask the wise men before we do this what would happen. They would say, Israel's going to release hell on earth on you. Mm-hmm. They didn't care because the new way of the world is there's no consequences. They went from monsters to heroes in a news cycle because no one seeks the wisdom anymore. That's the problem with his. Just put it out there.
You are.
Yeah.
Tyrus is Fox's G.K. Chesterton.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.